Once again, you got WNBA players complaining about the money. Natasha Cloud is the latest, trying to get a rise out of Commissioner Cathy Engelbert while she was down there at the unrivaled game. But you got to remember, this ain't personal. This is about business. Let's talk about it in a second. Run the play.
Quit calling the plays, all right?
You got to listen and you got to execute.
I already feel good about me. I'm good.
Just call it.
What's going on, folks? This is Coach Marcus for Pro Fan Talk. And once again, you got some of these players that's trying to put the cart before the horse. Now, let me preface this by saying, unequivocally, these women deserve to get paid more money. That's not even the issue. The issue is you got to play by the rules that have been set. You got to let business run its course. And business is up. Business is looking good. But it doesn't automatically mean that everybody is just going to get some huge bump in pay. There's some things that have to go on behind the scenes. And let's not forget, everybody's tuning into this huge boom of appeal and excitement for the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark, because of Angel Reese. You can stop it right there. I'll throw A'ja Wilson in there because A'ja Wilson was doing things before they got in the league. And the reason why I use A'ja Wilson and not some of the other ones, even though I can't say Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu and people like that, because I heard about A'ja Wilson when I wasn't thinking about the WNBA. So for me, and in my opinion, A'ja Wilson is somebody that transcends the threshold. And let me use the NFL as an example. There's people that don't give a damn about sports that go to NFL games just for the experience. They still go just to be in there because there's other celebrities that are going to be there. There's powerful people. People hold business meetings at NFL games. And so there's a different level of business that's been happening in other sports, NFL, MLB, NBA. The WNBA did not have that until this past year when you had these rookies come in. Everybody was going gaga over Caitlin Clark, and she did what she did. And everybody thought that she couldn't play and they was mistreating her, and she did what she did. Then everybody was talking, Angel Reese is not going to be as good when she gets to the league, and they going to need some grace and some time to develop. And then she did what she did. So you had two generational athletes in a draft, and they paid immediate dividends. And more importantly, they garnered immediate attention. Caitlin Clark had the appeal. Angel Reese had the ring. What was the biggest game 2 years ago in the NCAA women's tournament? LSU, Iowa, the rematch. It popped off with LSU and Iowa in the finals, and you all know what happened. Then they ran it back. Iowa got the best of them, but Iowa still couldn't win the chip. But by that time, everybody was watching. And unlike times in the past, that groundswell of attention, it traveled to the WNBA. That's the thing that I don't think I've seen before. So I'm not going to cap like I've been watching it since back when Cheryl Swoops was playing in Candace Parker's rookie year. I heard about it, but I didn't watch it. I was part of that group that watched LSU win the title. Then I watched South Carolina go undefeated and beat Iowa, but followed Caitlin Clark and Dawn Staley and Angel Reese and followed them into the W. And that got me interested. So that's the groundswell of attention, and attention turned into butts in seats. Butts in seats turned into endorsement deals, sponsorship money, media rights deals. That's where the real money is. All of this is new for the WNBA. And all of these players like Natasha Cloud and many others that are saying, well, we've been here for years. We started this foundation. That's not the argument. I know you started the foundation. The problem was when y'all started the foundation, wasn't nobody coming to see you. That's facts. It has nothing to do with how good of a player you are. Natasha Cloud is a good WNBA player. A'ja Wilson is arguably the best. But for whatever reason, It wasn't a lot of people coming to the games. They were not getting the attention. They were not putting butts in seats. They were not selling merchandise. That's why you wasn't getting the money that you want to get. Speaking specifically now back to Natasha Cloud's comments, and let's look at her comments. We want our money, and we want it now. We've grown so much, but there's so much room to grow. Just prioritizing players, making it a players' league. All those things really matter when you're trying to get a business to grow. And I agree with that, but you still got to run the business. And for everybody that's down on Cathy Engelbert made her mistakes for sure. But Cathy Engelbert was also the one that kept the WNBA from going under after COVID. Cathy Engelbert was the one that hooked up with Silver and got the deal from the NBA so you can be subsidized and you can keep that money going. Because who wants to back a failing business? And the WNBA was a failing business. They still haven't, even with the growth that they had this year, and with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and all the attention that they got as a league, as a business, they still lost money. I don't think they're going to get into the black until they get this new CBA deal. And when this new media rights money, when them checks start clearing, that's when they'll get closer to the black. It still might be 2, maybe 3 years before they break even. So when Natasha Cloud says that, in my opinion, what she's looking at is all the attention and all the money that's being moved right now because of what's happening right now and the players that have just joined the league right now and everything that's coming. You got Caitlin Clark, you got Angel Reese, you got Cam Brink, then you got Juju coming, you got Paige Beckers coming next year. So they got a solid group of players that will be constantly coming out of college. And now Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark have showed people the way where you can follow your favorite college player into the WNBA, just like every other sport, just like the NFL, just like the NBA, any other sport, they do the same thing. But for whatever reason, the WNBA just could not keep that attention like that. It just wasn't their time. As good as a player as Swoops was, as good as a player as Lobo and Lisa Leslie, and in my opinion, Candace Parker was the greatest player. And she still couldn't garner the attention that they needed. They had spikes, but they couldn't get anything to go consistently. Now they have somebody that will gather the attention consistently. Everywhere that Caitlin Clark go, they gonna sell out. Everywhere that Angel Reese go, they gonna sell out. When Paige Beckers comes to the league, everywhere Paige goes, they gonna sell out. When Juju finally comes to the league, they got a good roster and it's growing. But you got to get there first. They're not even in the black yet as a business. And that's the thing Natasha Cloud and others get twisted. It's great what Unrivaled is doing, but let's not get it twisted. Unrivaled is getting like this. They riding the wave of the Caitlin Clark effect and the Angel Reese effect, just like everybody else. But everybody knows people can debate it if they want to. But the bottom line is, if Caitlin Clark was in Unrivaled, the viewership would be much better than it is right now. But that's just the business of it. Whether you like Caitlin Clark or not, whether you like Angel Reese or not. Angel Reese is generating so much content now because now Angel Reese has become so polarizing because you got a huge contingency of people that love her and you got a huge contingency of people that hate her. So you got 1 million people that love her, 1 million people that hate her. That's 2 million people that's watching. The algorithm does not care if it's love or hate. The algorithm just wants the traffic. And that's what Angel Reese is bringing. Caitlin Clark ain't even playing. When WNBA starts and she gets back on the court, the same thing is going to happen again. The numbers is going to go up for Indiana and all they knew, Stephanie White, the new coach, all of that kind of stuff. When Chicago plays, the numbers is going to go up because Angel Reese and Ariel Atkins and everybody want to see what Jeff P is doing. And now Angel Reese is a household name now. So she's almost generating the same amount of attention. But I will say this, Angel Reese and her social media status, she's a number one. They got it handled both ways. During the year, Caitlin Clark is going to be the number one draw, period. When it comes to the content, online, social media, Angel Reese is shutting everybody down. If she has a good year like she had last year and she scores the ball a little bit more, it might end up Indiana and Chicago playing each other in the playoffs. That would be the best thing ever for the WNBA because it's going to put that rivalry back together and everybody's going to watch. Back to the original point, Natasha Cloud, you want your money, but your money is based on what other people are doing right now. Let's keep it a bean. Who are the top, let's say the top 5 popular, not best basketball player. Let me be specific. Who are the most popular WNBA players right now? My opinion, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Asia Wilson, Kelsey Plum, Sabrina Ionescu. That's my opinion. That's my list. You might have a different list. The reason I say this, Caitlin Clark, you don't need to talk about it. Angel Reese, you ain't even got to talk about it. Asia Wilson was doing it before they got in. Las Vegas was the first team to sell out they season tickets before the season started. That's because of Asia Wilson. Kelsey Plum, I didn't even know who Kelsey Plum was. I saw her on an internet meme throwing the t-shirts into the crowd at the Lakers game. I saw that. I didn't even know who she was. Then when I finally saw her play, I was like, oh, now I'm putting 2 to 2 together. And then, of course, Sabrina Ionescu, when she battled Steph in the All-Star game and almost won. It's not necessarily the best players in the league who is bringing that popularity. All of those players that I mentioned, Clark, Reese, Wilson, Plum, Ionescu, people are traveling to see them play. People are traveling to see Caitlin Clark. People are traveling, spending their own money, traveling down to Florida to watch Unrivaled, to see Angel Reese, to see these women play. Sabrina Ionescu, again, I didn't really know who she was until I saw her in the All-Star game. And that stuck. Why do you think they wanted Caitlin Clark in the All-Star game this year? NBA All-Star game was trash this year. That's why they wanted Caitlin Clark. The NBA season has been trash. The WNBA has a legitimate opportunity to gain a foothold in this professional entertainment landscape, and they can't screw it up. All they got to do is keep running the business and keep putting the league first. You can't put the players first because if it was up to the players would bankrupt the league because everybody think they deserve to get paid. It don't work that way. Not saying they don't deserve it, but the business won't let it happen because you still got to pay all of them people. Why the hell you think the WNBA didn't have a social media team tracking Chicago and Caitlin Clark? There should have been a social media team with Angel Reese on day one. Look at her social media influence, and she is far and away the #1 athlete out there. So you send your social media team to her because she's got the biggest reach. Caitlin Clark was #2. You take your top 3 rookies with their social media content and you send somebody to follow. The WNBA didn't really have a social media team to do that, or they would have done it. The reason why, again, back to Natasha Cloud, you're not getting the money that you want to get because it's just now happening. Them checks haven't even cleared yet. If it wasn't for last year's crop of rookies, do we need to even go to what your average attendance was where you were playing? Wasn't nobody coming to see Natasha Cloud? It ain't got nothing to do with her being a good basketball player. She got skills. She can ball, but that don't bring people to the arena. What I would say is you got to pump your brakes and let the business run. Hopefully, Cathy Engelbert is going to do some things. She's going to run the business a little bit better. I would imagine that the product is going to look a little bit better this year than it did last year because nobody was ready for what came. Nobody expected Caitlin Clark to do what she did. Nobody expected Angel Reese to do what she did. And they were both rookies, both of them setting records. Nobody expected that. The WNBA, in my view, they was playing catch up. Natasha Cloud, I ain't mad at you. You want your bag. You've been in the league for 10 years and you seeing all of the young guns get it and you feeling some kind of way. That part I understand, but it's still a business and you got to pump your brakes because you got to let these checks cash. Maybe you'll hang on long enough to get yours. Maybe you won't. That's the way the game goes. I say it all the time. You got to play the game, but the game ain't fair.